All right, then, here we go. So, Satia, how you
Hey,
doing?
all
Good?
the better for seeing you, my fellow director, my one of my best friends, um, security professional. I mean, where does my day cannot really get any better, can it? My
This is
week
what she
cannot get
does.
any
You're
better.
making it about me. It's not about me. This is about you. And we are so pleased to feature you, our first
Oh,
ever ambassador feature for Girls Who Dare. As you say, you and I are also colleagues through IPSA. Thank you so much. You brought me into that amazing organisation, association. But today, what we'd love to focus on for our Dare readers is a real spotlight on, you're not only an ambassador, which is amazing, but you have a daring story of your own. You are not the regular female that certainly I've ever met in my life, and you inspire me in so many ways. And we would love for you to share a bit more with everybody. We're going to probably do more of these together because it's hard to capture it in a sort of 20-minute window. But tell us, about how you envision things, how you approach situations, and maybe
mm,
some lessons that have helped you to be this
mm,
daring, amazing woman that you are.
mm. Well, look, thank you for giving me this platform and having me as the first to speak. I feel extremely honoured, especially when I've now met the entire Girls Who Dare team. And wow, what a bunch. Maria, I know you want me to talk about me,
Yeah,
but
you're doing it again.
the introduction I had with Bex, wow, fantastic. So look, it all started back, when I was my mum and dad were the first. I'm a proud daughter of immigrants. They were the first immigrants that came over here in the late 1960s. Didn't know the language, and they had to start a life. Didn't know nobody here, and you know, the one thing they came over was the work ethic and a sense of community, that they left their family behind and they felt that they had to look after them, and then they had to create communities here. So me growing up, it was like almost they had to look after everybody else. My dad was still, and my mum and dad were still handing over wages to my granddad to send money back home to family so they could survive, and etc. and so on, and building our communities and places of prayer here. And although when I look back at it, it was frustrating, thinking, why am I going without? We couldn't go to university, and our socio-economic background, it was a challenge, but them very values of community and giving back and living for others and looking after others. And you say that to me, Maria. It's in my DNA. It runs through my veins. I cannot give that up. And that's where, my purpose as a leader and leader of the largest trade association in the private security sector is I want to look after the 500,000 frontline security officers, our security professionals. They have some incredible stories. I was again at Boots on the Ground campaign, which is a huge success, and I was at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Again, I met a young man who talked to me about his journey and his career aspirations, and he's studying criminology at the moment. And he said, "What's my next? Can you help?" and etc. And I was like, "Wow, this is gold. This is absolute pure gold." And I met other women that were working on the front line, and they talked about their struggles and their successes and what they love about the job, and connecting and supporting the public, and the customer facing piece and the de-escalation piece. What I saw, what I witnessed last weekend, what I have witnessed with this Boots on the Ground campaign is quite something significant that I could not have done by sitting behind a desk. It's being there. I'm a DS licensed. I've done my training, and I did it for this exact reason, so I can stay connected, stay relative, so I can learn. How can I listen to the front lines there? How can I make this sector better for them? How can I make it so they have there's longevity in their careers? That's where my purpose is and along the line, I want them to enjoy it and have fun, like I do every day in my job. And I meet the most incredible people that come across whether it's my LinkedIn, whether I meet them face to face, or whether I'm working with them, whether it's the IPSA piece. It is a real privilege. It is a real privilege for me, and I can't not stop especially when, I'll have a message to say, Satia, thank you so much. We've never been to an event before, but seeing you gave us the confidence to come. We want to come back. Can we come to more IPSA events? And I'm like, my job is done, Marie. It's there, and that was instilled in me from a young age. And I think I've said this to you before about my brother was in trouble with the law when we were younger. There was a lot to do for our communities at that time, in terms of the younger generation, the next gen, and he got in trouble with the law, and it had a devastating impact on me, my family, and the wider communities, because it wasn't just our family. And I just thought, I can't, what can I do, Marie? I was quite young there. I thought maybe it was policing that I would go into and have a career in. And I was a special constable in Bedford, and I went down that route. And then an opening for a security officer role came up. And I liked the shifts. I was still able to serve the public. There was an element of, keeping public safe, community safe in the retail job that I was doing. And I liked it and I loved it, and I made the conscious decision to stay in the private security sector. And it's the best decision I have ever made. It's enabled me to grow as a person. It's enabled me to give back. It's given me a voice on a global platform. I've gone around the world speaking about my journey, my story, my passion and vision. And ultimately, Marie, who am I? What am I? I'm just passionate about people. People talk about, diversity, equity, inclusion, belonging. Ultimately, Marie, it's just people. It's about caring for them. It's about being kind. It's about being empathetic. These are qualities I will talk about, and they're not, some will think, oh, it's just, no, these things, these qualities of kindness and giving back and listening and seeing our people, that's what inspires me, and yes, I hear every day that people say that's similar to me, but actually they're my inspiration, Marie. Whether they've administered first aid that saved a life, or whether they have de-escalated a situation, or whether they've disarmed an offender with a knife or any other implement. These are the stories, or whether they've talked somebody down from the edge of a car park. This is why I do what I do. There are incredible stories out there. I want them to be heard, seen through our platform. And, there's around about 50,000 women on the front line in the private security sector. They are brilliant at what they do. Absolutely. This old bouncer type situation, this narrative is long gone. It's long gone because, the front line is about de-escalation. It's about communication. It's about managing risk. It's about evaluating, high risk situations, and women are brilliant at it. And look at our sector. Look at the female leaders that are within it. You, myself, and our, 60% of our board now, I'm so happy, are women. That hasn't just happened. That's organic growth. These are the right people to do what's right for not just IPSA, but for our sector. They're the right people to have it in our sector. So I know I go on and on, but this is just a little bit about why I do what I do. But, ultimately I'm, the biggest role I have, like you hear this numerous times, is, I care for my partner. She's on the autistic spectrum, ADHD. And look, my mum and dad are quite, you know, mum's 78 now. My dad's going to be 79 this year, and you know they're not getting any younger. So, you know, I should sort of practice what I preach a little bit, which is spend more time with the family, and I am planning to do that. And they're my focus and inspiration, Marie. You know, to do what they done. They had nobody here, and to build that and keep, you know, alive communities back home in the Punjab. That's where I'm from, and equally here, you know, build communities here because they didn't nobody here. That's that gift my mum and dad gave me. I'll never forget.
And that fight, you know, comes across in you in everything that you do. And like right from the beginning of this conversation, you know, and you do it all the time. I know we were joking about it. You're always thinking of others, and you're right. You know, you and I know your partner often does say, "Can't someone else in the team do that bit?" Because yeah,
It's you. She says it to you, Marie. It's
yeah.
aimed at you.
And I do need to do more, but at the same time,
You do.
you've got to let me do more. But then I know why, because the thing is, again, it comes back to you are extremely passionate about who those people are, and making sure they're getting the support, you know, they need. And I think, you know, another great shining example though of, you know, the result of your work is your recent award. Tell us about that, because
Oh,
that
Marie,
was
you
like
know,
an
I,
amazing
I
moment.
don't do, but look, you know, I mean, I didn't go, there was no prepared. I thought, here it is, I'll go enjoy it. You know, the, the team at the British LGBT Awards, British National Awards, were brilliant. They were excellent. They're the SPM group, Sarah, Anne Marie, and Naomi. And as soon as I got there, the feeling was just. Now I know how people feel when they go up and win awards, because you know I'd rather win the hearts and minds of people than awards. But look, winning that award was so special in Pride Month, I proudly represent the LGBT plus community, and to win the Inspirational Leader award, I think I said to you, it was a career highlight. I mean, afterwards, I mean, Jess Glynn went to get up an award. She went up to get an award for her partner, and Olivia Colman was shortlisted. Some incredible and people I was listed amongst. I mean, in my category there was Burberry, I think, Google, Sainsbury's, and so that's the
I mean,
exact
I'm not
face.
surprised. I'm not surprised. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if any of those brands have reached out to be like, you know, the whole can't beat and join them. They'll want you on the team.
It was just it was. I mean, when they, you know, and it was nice because it, you know, Kaylee sat with me, my partner, numerous occasions when they have been shortlisted, and I can't. I'm okay. I'll live with it. But the disappointment on her face, Marie, when she sees you know, I don't go up, but that was just, it was priceless. That moment, and she was like, when they were reading the bio, she's like, "That's you." You should have seen that moment. She said,
Yeah.
"That's you." She said, "That's you," and I was like, "Oh." Then I was like, "Okay, it is." And then, but you know, fair play and kudos to every single person, organisation, group that was shortlisted. They all done some incredible things, Marie, all similar to what we do and what we get involved in. And international Women's Day is a movement that we proudly started. I started at IPSA, the London Pride movement. I started at IPSA. You're all part of that, and the industry is now seeing the benefits of that, and embracing it, and ultimately seeing it for what it is that, you know, we have a huge role to play in terms of public protection, and we do that better by looking after our people. So, you know, the tougher conversations around pay, working conditions, uniform, going above and beyond, maternity pay, paternity pay, all these things, you know, that, you know,
like you say, it's not just
makes it,
fronting an
yeah.
association. It's actually, yeah, taking the action and helping to better all of that. And you've made some very significant impact on all of the things that you've gotten your teeth into. And I know the whole IPSA board, as we sound proudly, one of your followers in that effort, and totally inspired by the way that you lead us as a team. But to help us kind of, I suppose, wrap this one up, because there's no way we can do it all because there's just too much to dive into. But with that, daring lens, what advice would you give to not just women, maybe even just generally anybody that maybe could take a more daring lens to, not hold back, and like what would you say I've learned, or any advice you would like to share with anybody to just help them to push their boundaries maybe a little more? And that might not necessarily be by being the loudest one in the room, but just how to maybe rethink their approach a little.
I I I I'm going to quote a good colleague of mine and one of our members, Wilson James, the Chief Operating Officer, a lady called Gemma Kirk, and she is brilliant. And she presented at our International Women's Day event last year, and she talked about being curious. I'm here and I'm sitting in front of you because my curiosity brought me here. What is this? What's this? What's this organisation, etc., and so on, above and beyond the job I was doing. So be curious, ask questions. What does this group do, or what does this special interest group, what does this organisation do, what does this association do, beyond the work realm. So it has to be at the top. I'll give you three because we haven't got. If I don't number it,
You could
I'll
probably
never
write a
stop.
book, but yeah, go
Yeah,
on.
yeah. So the second one is networking. I've absolutely, totally embraced the power of networking. The Some of the people that I've lobbied, some of the connections that I've made, and some of the wonderful leaders, and this piece is cannot be underestimated. I would not be where I am without it. It's absolutely key to what I do. You have to be seen as a leader. You have to be visible, and networking allows me to connect with other people, to listen to other stories, to listen to others, and equally to share my journey, my story, and talk about the brilliant things that IPSA is involved in and what we're doing, and etc. and so on. So networking, you've seen the power of it. You do extremely well. And I know that's not for everyone, but I'm there when people, just last week somebody said, oh, I'm not sure about Satia coming to the event. And I said, look, we'll be there. I'll be there with you. I'll meet you at the front. You could be with me throughout. I'll make sure that, and etc. And so just that, instilling that confidence and reassurance in somebody who would normally feel out of place in that sort of environment. Simplest of things. It's not for everybody, but saying these few words of encouragement goes a long way. So networking is so important. And then the ongoing learning piece. Continued professional development. I've done mine for the last 5 years. Is key for me to better serve our people, the security professionals, the public, and my own learning. It just gives me the confidence, and then sort of tagged onto that is that mentoring piece, Marie. I've got some incredible mentors out there. I've got incredible mentees out there, and that reverse mentoring piece is so important. And I'm a qualified mentor now. I did that training myself. So, the next generation and are hungry for it. They're saying that they want that. We've done a couple of internal surveys, and our frontline security officers, a lot of them have said, most of them have said in the surveys that they want to have a mentor. They want to be part of a program where they can learn from successful leaders or leaders, and learn from people's life experiences. And because training and on the job learning, etc., and so on is there. But when you can refer to a mentor and get that extra bit of guidance or support or direction, is key and valuable. So on that note, I think, but last but not least, have fun. Have
Yes.
fun and love what you do, Marie. I smile like this every day because of that part. I love what I do. When I walk onto a site or when I meet the teams, I have this incredible smile because it's joyous what I do. It's a privilege what I do.
It's certainly infectious, for sure, as is you, just in general. And just before we go, I love that you picked up on the networking piece and that how you hosted somebody in a networking situation. So with one of the things at Girls Who Dare, we're trying to reach out to people here is say, some of our followers will be people like yourself who are comfortable leading, but then there'll also be some people that they don't necessarily want to lead, but they would love to come on a journey with someone who does, and that mentoring piece there. So like you said, yeah, do not feel afraid to ask questions or be hosted, or you can still experience the journey without having to be the one that asks the questions, but feel confident enough to reach out to someone that can take you on that journey and let you experience it, because you're totally right.
Yeah.
In-person networking.
Is a key. And then the last bit, which I say it now and I repeat it, I'll never tire, is just being kind. The power of that, the value of that, it builds trust. It the joy that comes with it is it is not measured. It's difficult to measure. All you see is joy around you when you do that, and it's so crucial as leaders that we don't forget the basics of what we do and so on. And Girls Who Dare, the team, I've met all of them now, Marie, and we are absolutely delighted at IPSA that you're an affiliation, you're an affiliate partner, and we're here to to support you. And I know that equally there'll be our members will look at you and the rest of the board and your team and be equally inspired, because I was absolutely moved by 10 minutes with Beck. So the industry needs to be prepared for what's coming, because it's all wonderful, it's all brilliant, it's all wonderful, and it's about people empowerment, and Girls Who Dare is all about that.
Oh, Satia, you're amazing. Thank you so much. And you won't all know this, but she's literally got about 30 seconds before she has to go to the next thing. So we're very lucky that you fit us in today. Thank you so much, Satia. Have a good day.
A pleasure, my friend.